morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it might be, wherever it is that you are. Happy time zone. It's Friday, finally, after what feels like an exhaustingly long week here on March 379th of 2020. How are you this morning, Christos?
Thank God it's Friday, man. Honestly, it's been one of the longest weeks. I don't know because we had so much work to do or we're so busy with projects and stuff, but God, it's been packed. But it's been a fun week as well, right? Exciting projects, interesting meetings, good feedback.
I stayed up too late.
You stayed up too late. I worked way too much yesterday, writing code, which I love it. It's weird when you get stuck into the code and like 1 more hour, I can do so many more things, 1 more hour. And then it was 7 p.m. My wife's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. You left me with the kids all afternoon. I'm going to kill you. But she's understanding.
Yeah. So I wandered upstairs about, I don't know.
You're worse than me.
I wandered upstairs at like 1:45. And, which I haven't done this in a long time. Like it's been months. So I was not prepared for it. And I laid down and I'd gotten an email that kind of left me a little wound up. So I was laying in bed pondering this email, and then my 2-year-old gets up, and so then it was like, okay, as soon as I fall asleep, bam, he's awake. His new thing is he takes the box of diapers that's in his room and he pushes it over to the light switch and he turns on the light switch and then reads a book. So his light was on. So his light was on at 2 a.m. So.
Oh my God. What do you guys read? Was it the Graph
Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. Absolutely one of his favorite books. All the pigeon books. They're just the Mo Willems books. The kids all love them. I think they're great too. But there's a whole stack of them in his room, and he hid it under his blanket in his bed, and then turned the light on and took it out from underneath. So, yeah.
Corners and all, right? Sleeping on a book, it's so comfortable. Like my kids will do crazy stuff. They will put things under their pillows. They haven't moved to knives yet, but they're not far away from all the sharp things that they will bring into their beds. Isn't it fun? Yeah. We have Roberta Bowles, Trashing Code. Morning, Adrian. We've got CL Dubois. Now I can pronounce it properly. You can't do that on Twitter. Like, it loses its value. And good morning, friends. Thanks for joining us today.
It's like Twitch royalty in the chat, and then the king of Twitch royalty sitting in between us. Good morning, Mr.
Jolley.
Listen, I just want to open with a quick question. You two spend like the first 5 minutes of this stream talking about, oh, I'm so glad it's Friday. Oh, we've worked so hard. Oh, it's been such a stressful. Is your boss watching or something?
Yes.
I mean, do you have?
He's lurking in the background somewhere.
You got some kind of upper level management watching the stream, just checking out, and you're like, oh gosh, we really crunched it. I was up all night writing code. Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, my commit was at 7 p.m. last night. So I'm not even hiding,
before the stream,
man.
you were telling me about you binging Game of Thrones last night, so I don't want to hear it.
Game of Thrones is so last year. JP is watching all the doom and gloom that is on TV these days. What did you watch, JP?
I didn't watch anything last night, but I've made it to the end Triassic extinction in my mass extinctions book I've been reading.
There you go.
And it's totally fascinating. Like, the end Permian one was like super, super destructive. It took out like 96% of life on Earth, right? And I don't know. It's just a super cool book. Like you can go to Cincinnati, you can go to like New York City, the Palisades, and where they've dug out to lay road. There's just this wall of dirt, and it's full of fossils. So. It's I don't know, man. It's pretty neat. But then, like, I was talking to my son, my 7-year-old, and we were reading a book about Earth. And so he starts talking. He's like, so when did humans come around? And I was like, well, I don't know, like 300,000 years ago or so, you know. And he's like, wait a minute, like that's a long time. And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, did they just appear one day? And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I'm like, I don't even know how to start having this conversation. So I just kind of said, I was like, you know what? It's pretty late. I think you need to go to bed. You're breaking up. I got to go. Click. You know.
But I like in all our history, like if it was this long, we are like a dot at the very end of the.
We're like the thing
speck.
he said was if the Earth's life was a was a 24-hour clock.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity
the last second, right?
is the last like half second before midnight.
Damn.
Like it's such a small thing, and some of the animals and things that were here before us were like, one of them was like a 9-foot tall crocodile-esque creature that walked on its hind legs, which there might still be some down in like Louisiana or whatever, but because like my brothers
Don't
went
go
to
in the
school down
swamps.
there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've always thought I liked you, JP, but the fact that you spend a pandemic in isolation reading about extinction level
Exactly.
events,
Thank you.
that tells
Thank
me
you, Mr.
all
Jordan.
I need to know about JP.
Thank you, Michael. That's what I'm saying.
This Joker has a big box underground with like 3 years worth of grain and plenty of water, recycled urine for water, and he's like,
I know. See, that's the thing. Like I did hear about a guy. He had a network of 42 school buses that were like 10 feet underground that were all like connected together in hallways. Like I'm definitely not going to that level. Like I'm sort of like a.
You're
I'm
just
like
stopping at 10 buses.
I'm a casual observer of prepping. Like I find it fascinating to watch other people do it, and I think like that's so incredibly ridiculous. But then like I've been reading this book called The Ends of the World because the world has ended multiple times. Before that, I read a book about Fukushima Daiichi, the Japanese nuclear plant. Before that, it was Chernobyl. There's a really good book about Chernobyl called Midnight at Chernobyl or Midnight in Chernobyl, I think. And then, I love that book. It was really good. I started reading a book called The Rise and the Fall of the Third Reich. It was just like, A, it's this thick, so it's a billion pages, and secondly, it's just like, this is too much.
You know how that book ends, so you don't need to read it. How about that?
Yeah, it's just too, I don't know. It was just, I couldn't really get into it. I was like, it's just, maybe this just isn't for me. So
I think the real question is, how many seasons of The Walking Dead did it take you to realize it's not a documentary?
I never watched it. My wife watched it. I have yet to watch it, and because I don't like zombies, they freak me out. So,
They do?
He's like, I'm not watching it
I know
because
your
when it
kryptonite.
happens, I don't want spoilers.
I know your kryptonite. I know it. Nice. That's beautiful. I'll be sending you some zombies later this year.
No, I could never. I don't know. Like 28 Days Later is about the extent of my zombie movieage.
Oh, I watched that. I watched that at the cinema. I used to work at the cinema back then, and like as an usher, I was asked, because I was doing the late shifts. I was always asked to go into one of the screens that would do a pre-screener for the Fridays movies, and I wanted to make sure that the sound and everything was in sync. And I would be all alone in a huge cinema theater watching one of these horror movies. Man, 28 Days Later freaked me out.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that. Don't be alone in the cinema when that happens.
No.
And we have lots of friends today. Sil Dubois is having fun here. He's like, what? It's The Walking Dead is not a documentary. Yeah, it's not. Trash and Code is saying you're not going to that level yet, JP. It could happen very soon. We know that.
They're still digging the
which
holes,
level?
his wife. Putting the trailers.
He's buying the buses now.
That's what
They're digging the
contractors are here
holes.
for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I live right by a lake. Maybe I should do it under the bed of the lake. Who would ever think to look there? Just get like a periscope that comes up and
Nice.
it'd be perfect. Problem solved. See, now I feel like
Organized.
I'm like a weirdo who's like gonna go and have 4 years worth of cans.
Now
Maybe
I
it's
really
the-
understand though, because you said like the contractors are here to like whatever widen a door or something.
Exactly.
But I didn't realize it was to get artillery in.
I do live in South Carolina, so like when we moved, I grew up in North Carolina, so it wasn't like it was that far away. But when we moved here, we moved across the bridge, so we live a mile from civilization, and behind us is a hill, a very tall hill, and at the top of the hill, there's like a bunch of trees and stuff. But at the top of the hill is a power line, and so nobody builds houses there. The problem is that some dude owns some land over there, and he and his buddies like to go shoot their guns out there. Which, I mean, whatever, guns, that's their thing. Like, I get it, but they'll go out there for like 6 hours at a time on like Christmas Day, and I'm fairly certain these are like hand cannons because we hear it over here. Like, I can hear it in the basement behind a door, a set of stairs, a basement, and the walls out to the outside of the house, and I still hear it. I'm like, oh my god, what just happened outside? And it's just, because we also live a few miles from a nuclear power plant. I don't know why we live here, because there's one 4 miles to the south, and there's another one 10 miles to the north. So now it's like, I guess at any point, if it just gets really white on the screen, you guys know what happened. So
Now I know why you write code so well. You're mutated. You got all the radiation
I'm
affecting
like,
your brain.
do you also play the banjo? I mean,
Not yet, but he plays other instruments.
No, I took up the drums. No deliverance around here. I need to get a rocking chair on the back porch and just sit back there with the thing in my, what are those things, like wheat or whatever you hang out of your teeth. So.
And you need your own alcohol, obviously.
get you a corncob pipe
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well, right?
with a straw hat.
When in Rome, hey, I'll fit right in around here.
And your moonshine.
When in Rome, Georgia.
So my buddy of mine, his dad, when we were growing up, my buddy of mine's dad, he
Between. Exactly.
he's a history professor, and he did a bunch of work on the Catawbans, which were the people that lived in North Carolina before a bunch of people came and wiped them out. And so he was talking to, he went and interviewed a lot of people to write his book. And I remember I was, 14, 15, and he comes back and he's got this like backpack full of mason jars, right? And my buddy and I, we were like, what are those, And he was like, this is moonshine. And we were like, oh, cool, like we'd never seen it. And it just looks like water, It's just totally clear. It didn't have anything, in it or whatever. And I remember he took the lid off, and it was like, you could feel it burning, and you could feel it like burning your nostrils just smelling it from like across the room, So, I don't know, no moonshine for me. I think it would eat a hole in my esophagus. So.
I love that you got to follow right when you said moonshine.
This is the right show to be on a Friday morning.
Somebody's sitting out there in the Tennessee mountains going, this is my kind of content.
See another. Well, no, it's funny because another Georgian has arrived.
Yes.
So Knick-Knack 718, yet another Georgian. So, although he's a Georgian, but I think he's a Googler too. So.
And Frackberg is from the North Carolinas apparently. He's on the Maxwell Developer channel. So thanks for joining us on both channels, friends.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Should we do some news? Oh, he's from Georgia. Sorry, Frackberg. Georgia, fine.
Do we have news?
Some news.
Are we gonna do a show today? I thought we were just gonna make fun of things.
It's fun. I mean, we can carry on with the making fun of states and people. It's okay. I'm totally up to whatever you are.
All right. So what news you got? I guess this is all news. Robertables is right. This is all actually news. News you can use.
It was, yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
News from JP's life and his reading book. Maybe we should do a book club.
Book club. Hey, I've got a whole list of books to get started with.
I'm scared of your recommendations. I don't know.
Well, no, most of my book recommendations are kids' books because I guess there's no concept of like different like kid accounts on Kindle. So like I buy a book for the kids, and so all my recommendations are, which I kind of don't mind some of the kid books. The Elephant and Piggy books are actually pretty great. So, I mean, honestly, I think there's some adults who could benefit from reading Elephant and Piggy books.
Yeah, I have the same problem, but it's with iTunes. Like I don't use it anymore, but used to we had the family iTunes.
Oh yeah.
And then like I would tell it, just rotate through my music, not realizing my wife has like bought songs for like kids' birthday parties and stuff. So I go from like, Metallica to U2 to some Billy Joel to The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round.
Oh yeah.
That makes for an interesting.
It's hard to be cruising like to some Tupac and then all of a sudden,
The Wiggles.
Yeah, the Wiggles come on. Hold still, wiggle. Sorry.
As long as it's not Baby Shark, because that.
Oh no,
it's an evil song.
That happened before Baby Shark. I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
the
lucky.
Baby Shark.
You're like,
Baby Shark's capitalizing on that because the people, whoever Pink Fong or whoever makes it, because we have those Kindles for kids that have like the big bumpers and they have the free time and all that sort of stuff, and so we have one of those. And I heard my littlest one. He was listening to the song and he's standing there and he's swaying back and forth and he's dancing, but it's in like Korean.
oh,
And so
Yeah.
K-pop. It's
I went
not
with-
too young to be in K-pop.
No, it was Baby Shark, but all the words were Korean. So I went and hit the language button to put it back to English. They've got like 85 translations of Baby Shark in this app, and I guess he's just he's kind of rotating through all of them. I guess so. Before too long, he's going to be conspiring in another language with his siblings against his parents.
Is there a metal version?
I think there is. Yeah, I
There's
think
gotta
there
be.
is.
There was a guy I used to work with. He used to listen to a band called Baby Metal. Have you ever heard of Baby Metal?
I bet
No.
Thrashing Code has. I bet
No.
Thrashing Code has.
I'm sure that Thrashing Code has, but it was like, I can't remember where they came from.
Robertable says he loves Baby Metal because it's awesome. Guys, I am extremely worried now.
No,
Yeah,
so
it explains a
I think
lot,
it's Jap-
really.
Yeah.
Japanese. They are Japanese, but it's this like pretty like fast like thrash metal type, right? But they're like teenage girls. doing it,
Baby
which is-
Metal is Japanese. Okay.
Yeah, which is-
Raphael
it's-
IDCA says.
It's quite a thing to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It's quite a thing to see it. So,
That's how North Korea spy recruitment works.
Baby Shark, Baby Shark on the Kindle.
Oh God.
Oh man. Okay, yeah. Let's get to the news. What
You
you
know
got?
what? That should make it to our Supercat segment. The Baby Shark bit. Right.
Oh,
First
I
one.
hear some new background music for when we take a break. 'Cause everybody complains about the music we have, so it could be worse, and it will be.
Could be worse. So be careful. What do you ask for? Yes. Righty ho. Let's go with the news. The news segment. Okay. First one is access control for GitHub pages. So now you can actually, as an organization, limit control to your GitHub pages, which means that if you have websites running on GitHub pages, you can make them internal only. So you don't have to publish everything to the world when you want to run static websites, which is great. And
Internal to who? Like people in
Repos
your
admin
org or
can
something?
limit publicly available visibility and limit to users that only have access to that repository.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, interesting.
And you can also get private and internal repositories support private visibility. So everyone in the org or the enterprise will be able to view the pages with the same credentials that they log into GitHub, which is cool. And then you can have admins that can configure the visibility options so that members will only be able to select visibility to their pages, which is again pretty cool. So that's
that's pretty
ACL for GitHub Enterprise, which is nice. Next news is about Azure AD. Obviously, we're an identity show, so we should talk about Azure AD from time to time. And this one is all about
Occasionally.
Azure. Occasionally, we might cover some news. This one's about Azure AD Connect, which allows you to sync between your AD and your Azure AD. And up until this point, there was a flavor that would only run internally or on-prem, that agent. Now we have a cloud sync option. And the benefit of that is speeding up process. A company went from 5 hours of syncing to 5 minutes, I think, or 30 minutes. It's down here,
Yeah,
somewhere in the stats.
it's a
25
big
minutes.
difference.
It's a big
Yeah.
difference. Also, they increased the size of the sync group. So now you have up to 250,000 members, which
Yeah.
is a large number.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And instead of having to have this big Azure AD Connect installation, like Azure AD Connect, if you go look at it, like if you were to go install it today, it's still called MIAS client.exe. So it was MIAS, and then it was FIM, and then it was MIM, and then it was just DirSync. We called it DirSync for a while. Then we called it Azure AD Connect, and it's still the same thing. But you had to understand like metaverses and all this sort of silliness. So like switching to the agent-based one, I think will be really cool because, I mean, essentially you're moving management from on-prem to cloud side, and that's like, that's certainly going to be ideal. And then the V2 endpoint, that's where all those extra throttles, that's where all those bandwidth increases came from. So that's why
Exactly.
that cuts those sync times down so much. It's a pretty cool thing if you're in a huge org. So, yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, we'll share the links on the YouTube video. So make sure you check below for all this information. Now, this one got me really excited. This is Raspberry Pi for $4. It's insane. You get a microcomputer for $4 today. All right, it's
pretty awesome.
And it comes with some, I mean, it's not for heavy workloads, obviously, but it consumes 100 milliwatts. That's nothing, right? And you get, the specs are fairly decent. Obviously, you need to buy a lot of extensions and tools. Can it run Crysis? I don't know, man. Can you write it in 15 kilobytes? It supports up to 16 megabytes of flash memory. It comes with a dual-core ARM Cortex at 133 megahertz. And it has one USB 1.1 controller, which is, But considering that it's only $4 and you can do so many things with this, it's quite impressive. I wonder if you can run VS Code on that, I know you can run it on a proper full-blown Raspberry Pi, but can it run Slack? No, man.
I mean, if you want to run it with, what was that, 260K of memory and a 133 megahertz processor? I mean, what better way to turn VS Code into Visual Studio? It'll feel the same.
the thing that I like is what you just showed there, that picture where like it's a reel. I love that it comes on. I kind of want to buy the reel.
Yeah. Yes. It's really good.
Yeah.
The puns are keep coming
so
today.
many things. Yeah.
Damn. So it comes with a nice book as well with microcontrollers. So if you want to get into that,
I think it's cool. I think we ought to figure out a cool project and do something with it.
We'll do a segment on IoT devices.
Yeah,
you can set up
code
a
and
lot
stuff
of.
will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Code with Sean says you can set up a lot of IoT intelligent sensors for $4 each. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think about what it costs to get even a generic off-brand Z-Wave thing or whatever, and it's 15, 12, 15, 20 bucks, So, yeah.
That, and then we have some security news. We have a new Chrome browser 0 day, which was announced yesterday. So go get updating if you're using Chrome. And I suspect that Chromium browsers are affected as well. So I suspect Edge will be in that category. Doesn't say anything
we'll
here.
End up with I'm sure we'll
but they
end
said
up
the
with
same code base.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've got a pending update right now. So next.
Next. Fine. God, I'm being pushed today. Next. Google uncovers a new iOS security feature, and Apple quietly added a feature that Apple added, and then it's called Blast Door. So go get your iOS updated ASAP if you're running on iOS 14. And finally,
we had that in there because we decided to include that because I got text messages from my mom saying, "Hey, I saw this. Do I need to do this?" And I think it sounds like it's pretty. It could be a bit of a nasty bug, and that obviously it sounds like it was under active attack. So yeah, if you're not on, I think it's 14.4 now. I think if you're not on iOS 14.4, you need to get there quickly. So
yeah, 14.3 and below are affected. And finally, we have a sudo compromise. So there's a security affecting sudo commands that allows escalation of privilege on Linux and Unix machines. So you should go and update. Get the patches, friends.
Should have used Windows.
But WSL is still affected. So even if you're running Windows, you have WSL there. Full Linux kernel, right? So
that's just science.
That's pure science, exactly. It doesn't save you the fact that on Windows now we have Linux. We get attacks from all fronts, right? And that's the news. But sudo is for escalating privilege, so failing as expected.
I think it lets you sudo if you're not in sudoers. I think that was the big thing, was you could sudo if you weren't supposed to be able to sudo. It's just like it's sudo for everybody, like Oprah. Sudo.
You get sudo and you get sudo. Everybody gets sudo.
Everybody gets a sudo. So.
But how am I going to install my hacking tools if I can't sudo? Right. That's me with the news. So we're
Very
asking
cool.
code. So we're asking
Yeah.
code.
So today, if it wasn't obvious, we have none other than the bald bearded builder. I the first time I read it, I was like, do I get to pick two, like bald and build, or bearded and bald, or whatever? But anyway, he's here today. Good morning again.
Good morning.
We're so happy to have you here. We genuinely mean that too.
Boy, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. It's I've been so looking forward to this.
It's literally overflowing. You can feel it. Through the
CL
screen.
Dubois can hear that disappointment from miles and miles away.
Yeah,
This could have been an email.
email.
Yes, it could have been.
The stream that could have been an email.
Hey, if corporate makes us change our branding, that's going to be the new name of the show. The stream that could have been an email.
It's really good.
So tell us in 90 seconds. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Michael Jolley.
Spoken like a true keynote speaker.
It's like 10 seconds there.
Yeah.
No, my name is Michael.
Timer.
I am. My name is Michael. Yeah, I've got my watch over here. I'm like, I am a developer advocate at Vonage. We make cool communication APIs. So that's basically my job, is playing with cool APIs and then helping other developers to build stuff. And then if our APIs kind of fit in what they're building, that's cool. And if not, that's okay. I just want to build cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a dream job come true, right? It's crazy.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. I love, I was telling you guys before the stream that somebody in our community had mentioned they recently got a developer job, had been wanting one for a long time and should be starting that. And, they were like, you were a big part of that. And I'm like, oh man, that's more gratification comes from that than any program I've ever written,
Yeah,
So absolutely.
that's awesome. I mean, because you've done a lot of charity work. When we
Yes.
came and when we came and did a show with you, that was for
Yeah.
that was the Blazer Week for charity, and you do a lot of work, a lot of community work, both tech community and non-tech community, just the community, right? The place you live and places nearby. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's that's the best part of it, and thankfully Vonage lets me do that, every day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So shout out Vonage, thank you.
So speaking of Vonage,
Yeah.
now I personally, and again, I live in 42 school buses near Bedrock underground, so I just don't know. But
Are you gonna start singing the song?
yeah, you have to sing a song to get in. It's like the little flute that, or the little thing that Willy Wonka plays to get into the workshop.
No, the Vonage song. Are you gonna sing the Vonage song?
Oh, there's a
I don't
Vonage
know
song?
I don't think I know the Vonage song.
You don't know it?
No.
Oh yeah. So like Vonage used to be just like VoIP.
Yes,
and
yeah,
mainly,
that's how I
mainly
remember
residential VoIP.
Okay, that was
And
my question.
all their commercials were like, woo 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 woo. They were so annoying. They were the worst. They were the worst.
Okay.
They were terrible.
So that's what I remember of Vonage. I remember the $24 box that you could get.
Yeah.
Like you could get it at a gas station, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you get it anywhere on the planet. You go pick up this Vonage box, and
It comes
felt
with your
like-
AOL disc that gets mailed to you.
Yeah, it felt like it was the first and only residential VoIP for a very long time. Like,
Yeah.
here's Vonage, and what felt like all we had was Vonage for a while, and then years
Yeah.
later it all sort of exploded, right? And everybody and their brother like does Vonage or does VoIP now. So, what does Vonage do now? Like, what is the Vonage of 2021? Because it sounds like there's a whole lot of extra stuff and developer focused stuff too.
Yeah, so they still do, they do some residential stuff. They're much more into like enterprise phone systems now, or communication centers and that sort of call center kind of stuff. But there's kind of like two sides of it. One is that kind of applications, business where it does that. And then the other side is more the API business, where all that technology that, that call center is built on, whether it's, voice or SMS or WebRTC, all those kind of things, messaging, integrations with Facebook and WhatsApp and all that is available as an API as well. So if you need to integrate that stuff in, look it up.
Nice.
You guys used to do hardware as well, right? Do you know you used to do VoIP?
Oh man, if they did hardware, I don't remember that. That's before my time.
How long?
I mean, I guess so because I guess so because when years ago I was a Vonage customer of residential voice, and I think they sent a phone. So I guess so. Paul says we still do. I didn't know that.
Oh, we still do, says Pardell. Damn.
Wow.
Tan tan tan.
That's interesting.
So is it sort of like if I want to so if I'm a developer and I want to add voice to my app, right?
Yep.
Like that's sort of the the APIs are there to do. Do you do like video and stuff too?
Video, SMS, messaging, as in or a dispatch, like where if you say you're building like PagerDuty, right?
Right.
And you need to be able to contact someone if a server goes down. Maybe you want to send them a text message, but then if somebody hasn't responded after so long, send them a Facebook message, send them a WhatsApp, send them all these different things. You can dispatch in different ways, or certain times a day send this, and certain times a day send that. And
nice.
Oh, that's
where were you guys? Where were you when I was doing Cisco voice over IP and their API was
we were making catchy tunes.
Awful. I had to reverse engineer and IL spy their SDK to figure out how things were working. And that was 2014, so I'm not talking about ancient times. I am talking about,
6 years
in the last decade anyway. So
it's a wolf.
I would have loved.
Yeah.
It's a wolf from the office.
But
we were called Nexmo.
Yeah, the API side of the business was purchased. It was a company called Nexmo that provided those APIs.
Nice.
And they purchased Nexmo and then have been kind of changing everything internally over to those APIs. And
cool.
I work specifically with the video stuff.
An API makes or breaks a product, especially for developers these days.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more adamant on that. And happy Friday to all our friends on the Microsoft Developer stream that are following the conversation there. So are we? What are we building today?
I'm gonna switch to your screen if you're cool with that.
Wait. Let me
make sure and take all the.
Close down WandaVision real quick.
Close down everything.
I'm sorry we haven't been entertaining enough.
Yeah, switch over. I'm ready. So
right.
I've got an app that I use. I specifically work with the video API using WebRTC,
nice.
and I have to build demos for that all the time. Hey, we want to add SIP abilities to call into a conference, or we want to be able to save our recordings to Azure, or we want to, all these different things. So to make it easy on myself, I created like a base application that I can just reuse. And then when I need to add in some kind of new feature or show it off, I can do it. So I made a copy of that and called it Voodoo Video.
Nice.
I don't know why. It's important to call it that for some reason.
Cool.
Let me zoom in a little bit and I'll show you. So I added some auth to it last night.
Right.
And basically, it's just a little Express app that serves up a few things. I think I've actually got it. Oh, I don't have it run it. Let me run it. npm run dev. We've got nodemon, so any changes we make will update it. Localhost 3000. So so I just added this little basic login page. And essentially, like if you wanted to be in a video session chatting with people, you would need to go into /room/ the name of the room.
Right.
Jay Walter says Voodoo. No, not Vue. This is just JavaScript, some Express.
So vanilla, almost vanilla JavaScript, right?
Nearly vanilla, yeah. So like if I did like /room/ test it out, it doesn't let me in. It knows I'm not logged in. So it's kicked me back to the home page, but it's keeping that I wanted to go into the room, test it out so that I can use that later.
Cool.
And right now, pretty much anything I type, bald beard build, it doesn't care about a password. Log in, it takes me in, and you can see it's using my handle there.
Oh, look at that.
And it's working. So like if other people joined it, like I've got it served up on ngrok, and I'll share that URL later so others can join us. But as people join, a little box will show up on the page with their video, with their username in the video. So I think what we want to do today is add the ability to use Azure, the B2C services,
Yes.
and allow people to actually log into it using something, whether it's a username and password or some kind of third party,
Yep.
to authenticate themselves and then be in the session. And then maybe even let people join us.
Yeah,
That'd be
right.
fun.
So the first thing that we need to do, obviously, is to set up B2C for our app.
Yep. I think I've done that.
You think I've done it? Okay, let's see. Let's see what we have.
Why are you questioning me?
No. I
do you-
totally believe you.
I created Do the Voodoo resource group,
Very nice.
and I've got a Voodoo Co.
And then you click on that magic button.
Yeah.
Check that out.
It's like magic.
It is like magic. And then in the app registrations, where did JP go? CL Dubois. JP had to go out to speak to one of his, what are you saying? He's got somebody-
Contractors.
Yeah, contractor.
Yeah,
to
he's
build
burying
his-
the trailers.
Yeah. He needs to work out where to, what is AD B2C? Thanks for the question, Greedy AI. Azure AD, or the Microsoft Identity Platform, comes with two flavors. One is the Azure AD, which is for organizational login. So if, say, Michael wanted to build an application that his company users would use, he would go with the Azure AD. The B2C flavor is the business to consumer, which allows you to create an Azure AD to manage your authentications, but it is for external users. So anyone watching the stream, or if Michael was creating like the app that he's doing, he wants to make it available to everyone, and he wants people to go and sign in and create an account, then that's what we're using B2C for. So it's for external users. I think JP left his mic on. Maybe he's having a fight
He
with
did.
the contractor
He's
now.
letting them have it.
He's negotiating hard
You told me it was radiation proof.
and blast proof. So in here, we need to create a new app registration. This is showing our intent. It's for authenticating customers. Yeah, exactly, product
So
customers.
new
Yeah.
registration.
Yeah, new registration.
I'm gonna call it Voodoo
Yep.
Video. Okay.
Hot mic, listening real close, exactly. And then you just want to do accounts in, you want to do accounts in this organizational directory. So that's B2C.
Which one?
Just leave the bottom one, is fine.
Bottom
the bottom
one?
one is
Okay.
fine. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Redirect.
And
Do
then
we need to put something in there?
not for now. Let's
Okay.
let's go and register.
Okay.
Just click the register button.
I think I can.
Oh, it's
There we go.
standard stuff. So by default, when you create B2C, if you go into the authentication, we
Okay.
will have to use that later on. But if you go to the authentication, here you can add a platform. So let's say add a platform.
Okay. Web, I guess.
And then no, we're a single page app, right? Because we're using we're using Express, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not
There
really
you
a
go.
single page yet, but okay.
It's the same approach. And then your localhost 3000. This is where your token will be returned.
Okay.
More or
So
less.
this is actually I've got it served up on ngrok. So let me put that there.
You can actually have both. You can put as many.
Oh, really? Okay. So HTTP.
You can have as many redirect URIs you want. And in fact, we'll add one more for jwt.ms. So
Okay.
add that one. Click add. Just at the bottom or create.
Configure.
Configure. Sorry. Yes. Configure. And we're not using implicit grant, which means that we don't have to worry about the older version. So add the URI there. So now you can put your ngrok.
ngrok. Heck, I don't know what it is. Let's see. I've got it open though.
Do you have the paid version?
I do.
Nice. You know what? I need to invest in that. It's such an amazing tool, right?
It's so easy to remember. Like I don't
Yes.
have to. You don't have to crazy little strings. Okay. And you said there was another one I needed to add.
There's
too,
another
right?
one. Yes, it's the. So if you go add URI, it's HTTPS // jwt .ms. This will
That's
allow us actually to go through the authentication flow and grab the tokens back without having to run the code and test it.
Yeah, so we can test it in the browser, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So if you press save at the top.
Okay, do we need to add the logout URL?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Quit getting ahead, Michael.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So this talks about how you're going to authenticate users when where the tokens will be back. Now, the next thing that we need to do is create a sign in and sign up flow. So if you go to if you click at the breadcrumb at the top and go Azure AD B2C, there, then if you go into user flows, which is under policies, here you can create a new user flow.
Okay. Let's see, probably just sign up and sign in.
Exactly. And you can have other ones, as you can see. You can have profile editing, you can have password reset. You can also split out the sign up and sign in if you want to have a different experience. And we'll go with the recommended one.
Okay.
The nice thing is that this way you can decouple the actual app registration from the sign in and sign up experience. So you can have different sign up experiences that can be used for different apps, or you can have one that can reuse across multiple apps. Here we go usually with SUSI, S-U-S-I, the short name. Actually matches our samples as well, so it's quite nice to do that. And we'll use local accounts for now.
Okay. So email sign up.
Yes, email sign up. And then MFA method, we want to use email, and then we'll leave the conditional as recommended. And further down, now here, you get an option to collect some additional information from the user. Maybe they want to provide a specific name, or maybe you want to capture the region or the email that they're providing. So on the collect attribute, that will be presented to the user when they sign up for the first time.
Yeah.
Right?
Now we don't have to collect email because it's going to collect that anyway, right?
Yep. But if you click on the show more,
okay,
you can have multiple email addresses. That's what it says. So we want to return claim. So the return claim on the right-hand side is what will you get as part of the token that is returned. So here, usually we go with email addresses, which should be the one that is not grayed out.
Yep.
And there's an option here to also maybe do the, which identity provider they came from if you have multiple one and you want to provide different experience. And further down, there's at the very bottom, I think there's a user is new. That's also quite nice if you actually want to present the user with some kind of a walkthrough of your app.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to capture that information on the first time that they hit the application. So I think at this point, we only need the email addresses. Do you want the display name as well? Rather than displaying that on the user, you might want to capture their display name.
Display name would be from the email address or from like the given name, or we would ask them.
Well, yeah, we have to ask for it, and then you can take it back, right? So I don't want to be. It will also make it more concise if you want to show it in the app. But
so
it's totally up to you.
If we, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, and then just create.
And you just create, yeah.
All right.
Hey, JP.
No, JP, are you ready to stream now? I mean, we are not interrupting you or anything.
Oh, he's mute or whatever. Oh,
we are.
Oh, we're interrupting.
Wow.
You made him walk out, man.
I didn't mean to offend you.
That was mean.
Boy, such a sensitive guy. That was folks in South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, these guys got a thin skin.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, we are. Right now, we have a B2C SUSI. In fact, if you click on that flow now.
Yep.
A Grant TNT, hello to you. Thanks for joining us. And Rafael IDCA is asking, if I use Azure AD B2C as auth for my web app, is it possible to authenticate users to access the API endpoints? Does it make sense what I'm saying? Well, I'm not quite sure what you're saying by API endpoints, but if you're saying, can I use Azure AD B2C to authenticate users and then grab tokens to go and speak to other APIs, then yes, that's totally doable. Right, so here at the very top, you'll notice it says run user flow, and that allows us actually to test things. So let's go and test it.
Okay.
This page also allows you to go and customize the look and feel of your app. So we don't want to click on that. Now, if you run the user flow, just press the nice button over there. You notice that we have jwt.ms selected, and you will be. Oh, sorry, but we're having trouble signing you in. What? What does the error message say?
Supplied request must present a code challenge.
Oh, damn. Okay, go back. That's interesting. I think, to test the JWT, we need to go back into our app registration.
Okay.
So root, app registration.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the Voodoo, then down here, you want to go into authentication.
Okay.
And then just select the ID tokens, the ID token, so in the implicit ground flow.
Okay. And save.
And save.
Okay. And now go back to the other.
Yep. Just go back to the user flow.
Run.
Mm-hmm.
Run.
You need to select access tokens. Sorry, we should have select access tokens as well. Go back. B2C. Right. Go back to the app registration.
Mm-hmm. Access tokens as well.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And then in the there.
Run.
Wait, no.
Okay.
In the access tokens now, you see on the. No, sorry. Press run. Sorry, apologies. I thought you were already inside the. I'm slightly behind. Okay, so here access tokens. Expand the access tokens. Oh, there you go.
So I need to sign up, right?
You need to sign up. That's correct.
Okay. Email
And
address.
for that, you need to use an actual email address that works for you.
Because it's going to send me a code, right?
It will send you a code. Okay. You can actually skip that if you want to, but the nice thing is because Azure AD B2C is free for the first 50,000 monthly active users, you don't want that, you don't want your 50,000 users to be inundated by random people trying to sign up for your app. So sending a verification code means that you're protecting against bots. Hey, JP, how did the negotiations go?
Okay, I'm back. And they're going to release my family, so I'm feeling better. Okay.
Yay! Did you have to pay them?
I paid them in Azure AD Access tokens. I have a lot of them, so.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, we're good. Customer call that was scheduled kind of at the same time, so.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So there's my token.
Yeah, and you'll see they have your name there, Michael Jolley, and then you have your emails that are coming as part of the token. So more or less, we're done with Azure AD B2C. This is now all configured and ready to go.
Sweet.
So we've got the redirect URIs that are both using, we have JW.ms configured, we have localhost 3000, and we have the ngrok endpoint to use. So we can test both endpoints. Okay. So now we just go and implement the code.
Muy bueno.
For that, we use MSAL JS 2.0. So there are a couple of ways to do that. I think the easiest one would be to go and grab a sample, right, JP? Or look at one of the samples that we have for Azure AD B2C with MSAL JS 2.0.
Sure, yeah, because do we just need to sign people in?
Yeah.
For right now, then yeah. So and it's all going to be in JavaScript. So yeah, so we have a library called MSAL, the Microsoft Authentication Library, and
you trying the moonshine there, JP? We didn't tell us this story from last week.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, don't mind the clanking as I get up to walk across the room. MSAL is our sort of family of authentication libraries. We've got JavaScript, Java, .NET, all sorts of different languages have an MSAL available for them. But of course, for us today, we're going to use MSAL JS. Now, is this a front end app, or is this a front end app running like a spa, or is this going to be a back end Node app?
It's an Express app, right?
It's an Express app.
Yeah.
Cool. So with Express, we've got two options. Or sorry, with Node in general, we've got two options. The general availability is released option is to use Passport, and we have a plugin for Passport. So if you're not familiar with Passport, it's a login sort of middleware for Node, and there are all sorts of different schemes available, or strategies, I think they call them. We publish one called Azure AD Passport, and that's been out for a very long time. We also have something in preview called MSAL Node, which is a version of MSAL specifically for Node. And it's about, I think it's right around beta 5. So that one would be a cool one to, I think that one would be a cool one to try. But we can go whichever route you'd like to go.
Let's do it.
Wait. When you go into Azure AD and you look at the SPA samples, there is an Express app that runs with Node that is using MSAL.js that does not require the Node MSAL. It's just running the vanilla option of MSAL.js on a vanilla website.
Send me a link. I want to take a look. I want to see what this is.
The JavaScript sample?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what
MSAL
I'm at.
single app. That's the one. So
With
if you
vanilla-
look at there's a let me see. They don't have, so they have the server and then have the single page app running somewhere. Yeah, there you go. JavaScript SPA, the folder. We'll have a pop-up and a redirect option. So if you click on
using MSAL.js?
yeah,
Oh, wait, that's a keyword. Where's my packages?
But this is for a
there's
single
no packages.
page app. This is for a single page app.
but it's using Express and Node, I think, isn't it?
I think it may be using that to just to host the files because
Right.
that repo is called single page, is it not?
Yeah, it's just hosting that
Yeah.
folder as a static.
Right.
Yeah. So none of the authentication code is running on the server. Right.
Yes, it's all on the
On the
client
front end.
side. Yep.
So your app that you're building, Michael, is that sort of is your backend
Similarly,
going to
yeah.
do most of the
Yes.
of the rendering, or you're going to build a front end too?
It is. The front end is just EJS.
Ah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'd probably need
Okay.
to have some kind of endpoint in Express that receives that back and then puts it into a session or something like that.
Yep. Yeah. So normally, so just for the, I guess for everybody's benefit, there are two sort of discrete but related things that happen. On the one side, we need to get a user signed in, and that's one sort of operation or one activity. So we know who the user is in your app. The second side is potentially calling APIs. So you may have to call an API. It doesn't sound like we're calling an API today, but
Nope.
the second half of that is calling an API. And in front-end applications, SPA, mobile apps, those sorts of things, the app is the thing. The app is the thing that will do all the work. And if it's running in the browser, then it has to handle both login and getting tokens for other things.
Right.
With backend stuff, however, like with server rendered HTML, essentially, Node, ASP.NET, Spring, any number of different sort of backend frameworks. With those, it's a little bit different. So what we see normally is an application will use a combination of both. So a lot of frameworks and a lot of platforms offer some kind of authentication out of the box, or they're part of a framework. Like Passport is one of the more common ones that we see with Node, for example, and that's why there's this Passport strategy for Azure AD. So you could go that route, or you could go the MSAL route, but the MSAL route gives you token acquisition, so the ability to go and get a token to go and call a downstream API from your server app. So it's a little more murky, I guess, when it comes to server side apps, because you have a lot of different options, and sometimes it makes more sense to do it in the framework that you're in because it feels more natural, and you don't have to go to all the trouble of I have to figure out how to set up a session and write a cookie and do all that sort of work. Because in a front end app, everything gets stored in local storage, and that's where it is, and it calls APIs and whatever. But in a back-end app, we've got options to set cookies, and we've got our own cookies. Like, you wouldn't want your user to sign into your app, and then in the next request they make, they click a link or something, well, now they got to go sign in again.
Mm-hmm.
So normally, your app issues some kind of a cookie,
Right.
and then that cookie is what's used for subsequent requests until it expires. And there are all sorts of rules around things like, oh, we should marry the cookie lifetime to the token lifetime. So if you get a 1 hour valid ID token for a user,
Right.
then our cookie should be 1 hour because now those two things are in sync. So for us for today, we've got an Express app. Let me see if we've got support for backend stuff already. Let me make sure that our MSAL node will support Express today. And if not, we'll go the other route and we'll go use we'll use Passport, the Azure AD Passport strategy. So MSAL node is out there. It's in public preview. We'll make sure there's a link. Everything gets in there. So let's see. And we're using B2C. So we're going to look at B2C auth code.
We might have to change the auth setup for our app registration because of one with a spa. My bad.
Yeah, we will need to change that, but that's okay. So here, I'm going to put this link out here. I'll put it in the OBS Ninja chat so that you guys can get to it. And I think this is a sample that uses what's called authorization code. And authorization code is a backend, a server-side OpenID flow. And all that really means is it's a mechanism for us to go and get a user signed in and then potentially get tokens for them using a server-side based flow, meaning the user's tokens themselves, so the ID token, which has all their user data in it, the thing that you showed us in the browser just a minute ago in the jwt.ms. It allows you to get those tokens without those tokens themselves ever touching the browser, which is important because we don't want users or malicious Chrome extension or a virus or malware or something on the machine to go and get those. So instead, we have this thing sort of called a front channel, and we have the back channel. And in the front channel, the user signs in, they essentially come back with a one-time use code, and then the server takes that one-time code and sends that back to Azure AD. It says, hey, I got this one-time code, now I need the tokens that go along with it.
Okay.
And so by doing that, that token data never actually touches the user's browser. It's all happening from your server, and your server, of course, is going to be much more, much more controlled and much more secure than your user's browser. Hopefully,
Technically,
it should be. We'll say
could
that.
be, should be.
Yeah. So, in this sample that we have, you'll notice there are just a couple routes that are down here at the bottom. So there's a login route, and the login route is primarily going to create. It's going to kind of create what we call as sort of an authorization URL. So when you're doing an OAuth or an OpenID flow, the first thing you do is you send the user over to authorize. So the first thing we do is we send them over, and by going to that authorized endpoint, we're asking the user to sign in, essentially. So that's when the user gets redirected over. They're going to click, type in their password. B2C is going to check their password, make sure it's good, or check their Facebook login, or however they're going to sign in, and then it's going to come back. They're going to get redirected back to your application.
Right.
And so that, if you scroll down a little bit, look around line 150. That's what's the second leg of the auth code grant. That's what we're after. So that second half, this is where your web server is going to take that and say, "Hey, here you go. Here's the
So
code."
you're getting that code out of the query string and then calling behind the scenes to go get the actual token.
Yep.
Correct. Because once that code's been redeemed, you can't redeem it again, and they have a very short life cycle compared to like an hour-long access token on an hour-long ID token. These authorization codes are valid for 4 or 5 minutes, and those extra minutes are mostly there to account for things like clock skew. So if, your clock is a couple minutes faster than somebody else's, that sort of thing.
Right.
We're actually not going to be calling APIs either. So some of this code we don't even need, like call web API.
Right. Yeah.
So all we really need to do is
So we definitely need to
get your user signed in.
Right.
So-
So we need to go Let me stop this from running.
Okay.
And I'll npm install that Azure MSAL node. And then we can copy pasta the heck out of this thing.
That's right. I mean, the samples were the new samples for MSAL Node are pretty good. In fact, we have an announcement we're going to make later in the show, and it's going to have a lot of MSAL Node in it. So
Yes.
yeah.
Let me, you know what, I'm going to create a separate file just to hold this stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
To keep it kind of all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Interesting. You're not using TypeScript, are you?
No, this is just JavaScript. If I had a choice, if I'm building an app, I'm going to choose TypeScript.
Yep.
I love it. But a lot of times when I'm doing demos like this, I find it just gets in the way.
Yeah,
Like if I want to show you how to do X, I don't want to have to show you how to do TypeScript and then do X.
Yeah. I feel you.
Get off my back, Christos. Jeez.
It should be part of the prereqs. If you want to come to the show, you have to use TypeScript.
Well, that's the thing about TypeScript. Like, you know, you build in TypeScript, and then it's like you forget to do a type def, and you're like, oh god, I got to go back and put types in for literally everything, and then it's like, oh, I just want this like quick anonymous type, and then well, you need to define this. So you're gonna have squigglies, or you're gonna have ignore comments everywhere else, right?
Well, it's interesting because VS Code should be grabbing the type defs for your libraries, but it doesn't work all the time.
No, I mean for like your own types. Like I've got a type
Oh,
that's just
yeah.
an anonymous
Yeah.
type. It's got like 4 properties on it, and it's like, oh, you need the type def for this. Like, let me go create. I mean, talk about the C#ifying of JavaScript. Like, you know, you've got more than 4 lines of code in this file, so we better. I think you need to go split it out into 2.
Someone's asking, do you use VS Code extensions to make sure you write comments or help you out with comments? I'm not a big fan of comments, to be honest. I don't know how you guys feel, but I prefer my code to be readable and legible and easy to understand rather than littered with comments. Comments become stale and boring.
cop.
And style cop. What is this, like 2002?
Hey, they
Yeah,
still
I don't use anything for comments, but I'm a big fan of comments.
Okay.
I don't necessarily do a lot of this stuff, but I like comments on my methods. Especially if I'm building a library for others to use, who if I'm writing a method like this, you know, there's something to be said for, hey, the code inside this method should be readable and understandable for any other developer that comes along and wants to work on this code. But if someone else is trying to use this library, not necessarily trying to mess with this code, but just trying to call the method, that's when I like those comments on the method itself to be a little more defined, so that that person doesn't have to know the inner workings of the method. They can say, okay, I need to pass this in, or I don't want them to have to learn how I did it all. I'm going to copy that whole thing over here. Let's see. Let's stick it in like right there. And I guess if I do that, I may have to put them all in the same place. Was that everything? It was one other, right? Login?
Yep.
Yeah, so we need a login. We've got a button, and really we end up with login and response, the sort of redirect response, like where do you want to go after, or where do you want, what thing is going to consume our code, and that's really going to be about it. Like the other ones that call APIs, since we're not calling APIs, we don't even need to worry about that.
Let me look. I think I've got a login. Or, no, I don't. It's just posting to itself. So
If you're going to post to yourself, do it in your room.
Also, we won't need that login page anymore, by the way, because when you redirect the users to the login page, this should be prompted to go to Azure AD B2C, so you will never see that
Okay.
page that you created.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So you could create a login button that does the redirect, so that it takes them to a page and it says, "Oh, you're not signed in. Would you like to sign in?" Click this button, or you could just by virtue of getting to the login page, they just get redirected.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm looking for. So that login, that's just going to redirect them, right?
Pretty much. Yep.
I'm going to change that to, if they're logged in though, will they get redirected? Or they will, but it'll come right back.
We need to look at what that get auth code method is doing, so we can see what if it's going to redirect the user or not. So let's see. So that's going to so this is always going to redirect. So that get auth code URL method, that's the method that handles generating the URL that's going to be sent. And in this current state, it's not checking to see if you're already logged in or if MSAL already has a cache or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that route's always going to redirect somebody as it is at the moment.
That tells me what I'll need then. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm going to say if you hit the root and I'll put something on the root that says click to log in.
Okay.
And that will send them over to the login route. Let's go to index. Right now I've got a login form there, but let's just get rid of that and put your who dis.
It's valid.
Is that going to be the root? Oh, no, that's not the root. Okay. That'd be a
That's the
good
root. Yeah, the root page is just who dis. You click it.
I meant root with a U. Route. Sorry.
Route.
The who dis
Root. Root.
Yeah, no, the route is just index. It's going to be the home page.
Okay.
New user. Who dis? Let's put that on both of them. There you go. So clicking that's going to send you to the login route. So they change that back to login. That will redirect you to
sign in to B2C.
Sign in. Yeah, this is actually This is in this other file, so I'll need to. Oh heck, I'm just gonna put it all in the same file then. It's too much. It's making me think too much.
It's too early for all that. Especially for Friday.
Yeah, come on. I need like a couple more cups of coffee.
Do you think our boss is watching this morning, Christos?
Well, I hope so, because we're dropping the announcement.
I guess.
Should I ping him and say, "Come on, we'll get some news for you. Join us on the stream."
I thought it was. That's why you're like,
He's lurking in and
so
out.
Hard.
Yeah, he's lurking in and out though, so you don't know which segments we'll catch, right? So we have to continuously remind him that we work hard.
This is just a quick PSA. Hello, Christos and JP's boss. They don't do anything.
Hello.
they goof off constantly.
Exactly.
Just you missed it earlier in the stream, but JP had to go off and like deal with
20
contractors
minutes.
midstream. What he didn't realize is that his camera was on, and we could tell that he had no pants on. So he's just sitting there in a shirt. It's very unprofessional. I mean, I woke up to a bright sun. I didn't expect to come on here to see the moon.
Oh.
Let's see. Okay, so we got that. Log in. Okay, and actually on this, I've been redirecting people. Okay, the login's going to redirect. It's going to come back to this redirect route, and then we're not doing API, so I can cut this out, right?
Yeah.
And
you
I'm
cut out the API block. Yep.
And I'm not doing the password reset right now either, so I can cut
No,
that too.
we don't have that. I mean, you could comment that out. Eventually, you might want your users to be able to manage their accounts through your app. But for now,
I don't care what they want.
You lose your sign in, you create a new account.
That's right.
That's
That's
the
right.
approach.
So I asked Christos to help me build something to change tab order on a page where you did tab from you would type in your username and hit tab. Instead of going to the next field, it would go to the forgot your password link. And I said, "Hey, can you fix this?" And he was like, "I don't see what the big deal is. Like, just don't forget your password."
Yeah, duh.
So there is one thing to note about that middle block, because we can get rid of this block. So B2C is a little weird in this regard. I guess it's a little weird in many regards, but in this one specifically, if a user clicks the reset password button on on one of the screens where they're signing in, or if you wanted to say generate a password reset button, those are actually different user flows. So the flow that you created, the sign up, sign in, that sort of thing. There's a separate one for password reset, because you may want to capture different data from a user when they're resetting their password, or do different verifications or whatever.
Yeah.
When a user clicks that forgot my password link at sign in, it actually takes them back to your app with an error that says the user wants to reset their password. And that's what that block of code is there, 167 to 171. That specific error code, that AADB2C 90118, that
so
essentially is if you're not going to let people reset their passwords, then you can cut it.
No. Which means I can clip that whole.
Lila just rated us. Hey, Lila, thanks for joining
Lila.
us with your friends. How was your stream today? What did you guys talk about?
I bet she got a lot more done than we are.
Hey, what's that supposed to be?
That accusation.
What do you mean? What does that mean, JP? You haven't even been here half the stream. What do you? You don't even know what we've done today.
It was a customer call. It was a legitimate customer call.
Customer call.
Customer call.
Okay.
Digging trailers in the backyard. And our
means
boss loves air
moonshine.
quotes, by the way. Our boss loves air quotes, so I have to make sure that. Certainly haven't got much done.
When we do crowdsourced PowerPoints with our boss, that's like one of his favorite things to do. Is he opens the document and shares the screen, and then we all talk about it and dictate to each other what we should write. And he uses inappropriate quotes all the time. It's pretty funny. Like, just random words will have quotes around. And you're like, what is going on? Anyway, sorry. Okay.
I'll make sure I cut this segment out of the YouTube video.
Yeah, so welcome, Raiders.
Love you, Toad.
From Layla Codes It. Hope you had a great stream. To catch you up, we're trying to add auth to this app, but unfortunately, Christos is making us set up apps incorrectly, and JP is drunk on moonshine. So you're all caught up. Stick around and let's see if we can work through JP's drunken stupor.
Definitely being drunk at 12:17 in the morning, 12:17 in the afternoon. Haven't even eaten lunch yet.
I'm hungry.
Christos is feverishly putting cut section minute 5.
I'm taking notes for the timestamps. Man, that's gonna be a long day.
Got this. This YouTube video is gonna end up being like
very
11
short.
minutes.
Yeah. We're gonna get 4.5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we've acquired our token by code, I think one of the things it was also doing is, instead of issuing a cookie, it's setting that app states object. So once the user signed in, we'll be able to look at different things. You would look at data about them. That's what that acquire token by code is going to give us. And that token request, that response object that comes into then, I don't know why this isn't using async await, but that response object is going to have data about the user. So there it's got this template params for response account username. So username is one thing we could get. If there are other pieces of data in that token, in that JSON token that we got earlier, if you wanted to get to those, you could get to those too. And
so if we wanted to get like, what did we say, Christos? Like display name, right?
Yes.
So how could we get display name out of there? Would it be like response.account display name?
So it's going to be in that ID token claims collection that you've got. So that ID token claims object, that should be a collection. And then and then we're just going to address it by name.
Yeah.
Because that could be
display name.
You can name it whatever you want that claim to be in the thing that gets sent over from B2C. You can name it however you want. so we can get that name out of there. So we need to make sure that's being sent over, which we can check with that jwt.ms tool that you were using earlier. But if
so it's
called
doing
display,
this.
then we'll
We
get it.
don't want to do that. So this is where we would implement what we want to do when we get it back.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so I've got one question. The way the user flow works on the app, you would be going to a specific room, like they're all video rooms, sessions, right?
Okay.
So the URL you would go to would be like, say whatever ngrok/room/the room name.
Okay.
Now, if I wanted you to join my room, I would tell you, hey, go to whatever/room/JP.
Yep.
Whatever the room name is. When you hit that page and you're not authenticated, it's going to redirect you to the root and send, hey, the room was JP.
Yep.
That's going to redirect you to this to go log in and send you back to this redirect. That I need to pass that room name along
Okay.
and get it back at the end.
So we can use the state parameter for that.
Okay.
So the state parameter is something we can send in the original request. So in that original redirect that we do,
Okay.
which is in that get auth code. Let's go look at that. Let's go look in that method.
Okay.
And that auth code request, which we're building up higher.
State equals state here.
Do we already have state?
Yeah, we do
defined?
have
We
state,
do.
so we
Oh,
need
good,
to
we
pass
do.
that in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can pass that in.
So in this case, in the login, that's an object with login call API. Do we just need to add to that and say like, let state equal app states.login, and then say state.room ID equals whatever that room was?
To be honest, I think the bulk of the state here is only being used for are you doing a password reset or not? So we probably don't even have to use that. We could probably just use your own purely custom state. It's going to go in the URL, so it just needs to be something
URL
that we can either URL
encode it.
escape or
Yeah.
if we have to base 64 something, we can do that too.
Okay, so if I come to get, I'm getting the room ID from the query string. If it doesn't exist, I'm creating just a unique string.
Nice.
And then rendering the page with that room ID. If they click that link, so when I click that login link, I need to
Grab
append-
the URL, the room ID, right?
Yeah. Grab that. I think that's right. I hate you. It's equals. Yeah, equals. Or equals. There we go. So we'll send that over in a query string to login.
Is that how you grab the parameter from the URI?
In EJS, that's the HTML template. So
Oh,
I'm sending
nice.
that room ID. Where is it? Where is it? Somewhere
Yeah.
in here.
Okay.
Where's the root? Son of a gun. Where's the root? There it is. So I'm saying render that index.ejs, and I'm passing in all these this object with variables. And I can reference it with that.
Sweet.
MID.
Thanks for the follow, Chilaxathor.
Chilaxathor. What's that?
Chilaxathor. Nice.
Like that.
That's one of those dinosaurs that died in your book there, JP.
Let me tell you something. The meteor that came that wiped out the dinosaurs it was so large and it had so much air pressure in front of it, right? That the air in front of the meteor was hotter than the surface of the sun for a brief instant, and then
Whoa!
there was
Snap.
so much pressure that it actually pushed the water, like the oceans, out of the way so it could slam directly into the ocean floor with no water on it.
Wow.
Completely fascinating. Like, somebody needs to make a movie about that.
I think there is a song. It's like
Is it the
Is it
Vonage
Baby Shark?
song?
it's getting
Baby
hot
Shark?
in her.
Got
Christos
him.
has been wanting to sing it. Go ahead, Christos. We'll wait.
I just,
It's getting hot in here. Man, it was playing on it was on my playlist non-stop for some time.
I feel like I just got
Right.
transported back to my to being 14,
Early
like,
2000s.
high school
Yeah.
dance, like homecoming.
That one, and it's all about the money.
Or yeah. So that's gonna
Yep.
send me over to login, and then so in there, my old login. Do I still have the old one? Yeah. This is the old one. I'm gonna copy pasta that a little bit. Actually, it would be coming out of the query, right? So yeah, it'd be something like this, something like that. Get rid of this. We're not going to post to this anymore. And then in that login, I need to say room ID is going to come out of request.query. And then I'll pass that in. So you're saying I could just create an object. I don't need that login.
No, you don't need that app states login. I mean, there might be some other logic we need to get rid of because of that, but for the most part, we can get rid of it. It's primarily there to, like, you'll notice there's like a password reset state, that sort of thing. And since we're not dealing with any of these other quote states,
I could comment out all this, can I? Or get rid of it all?
Yeah, because we're only going to have one. There's one login, and you log in, and that's it. Like that's a wrap, you know.
If that's the case, I'm just going to go, whoops, not do that.
Yep.
I'm just going to pass in an object with room ID.
Now, the one thing, of course, is this is going to go to the user's browser, and it's going to come to our servers, and we're just going to spit it back out. But you would like room ID is probably fine because room ID isn't necessarily sensitive, right? So, but if you're using state, just remember that the state's going to make a round trip, and it's going to be in the user's browser. So,
you don't put anything sensitive there.
Right. You want to put pointers there, like an ID or something. You don't want to put anything. You don't want to put anything sensitive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that room ID will be okay. We'll come back to the redirect, and in here we're getting stuff out from the login. I really don't even need like show login button. I don't need profile really.
I think that's from the sample.
Yeah. So I think I really just need that's fine. I'll call it that. User with the display name. And then how would I get the state out of that?
In that response object that's coming
There's
in,
a state.
There's a state parameter.
So I can just say room ID off that.
Yep.
Perfect. So then I can say, instead of render that, I can say render. Well, first I want to save who you are. And in my case, I just really want that username.
Yep.
Okay.
So I can just say, how was I doing that up here? I think I was just saving it into the session.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's checking for session.user.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to put it because now, and I don't know what the session implementation looks like for Express, but now what we're essentially saying is, cool, the identity system has done its job. We're going to we're going to store enough data from that identity session to know that the user is or is not signed in, and then, let your framework of choice handle persisting that, be it a cookie or server-side state or, whatever it needs to do. And then we don't have to worry about going back to the identity system every time a user gets redirected somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm going to redirect to room / that room ID.
Okay.
And because I set the user session to that username, it should assume, I think that room ID has, where is it? Yeah, I've got something in there that checks sign in, and it checks that user is there.
Okay, cool.
And will redirect you to the root if not, which would then redirect you to the other and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Heck. Okay, so I'm sure we got to plug this stuff in there correctly, right?
We do. So we will need to make a few changes here. We'll need the client ID, which is the app that you registered.
Let's see. I'm just going to do process.env.
Don't forget, we have to change the app registration, by the way, eventually.
Yeah, we will have to change it. So.
Okay.
Brett Miller is saying his children have invaded his office, so he has to drop off. You're gonna miss the announcement, man, but you can always catch up the on-demand video. And thanks for the follow-up, Midwest Dev.
I think he's just putting on there. The truth is, Brett has like 18 children, so I mean, there are literally always children in his office.
Right, so it's an excuse to push us into making the announcement now.
Yeah, he's totally setting you up here. B2C.
We don't give in to peer pressure.
client secret. 18 is a little low, he said. Yeah.
Is she aiming
Sounds
for
like-
a full football team?
Sounds like you need a new hobby, Brett. Get into like woodworking or something, or
Yeah.
I don't know,
Man. I
welding.
mean, we stopped at 2, and I think it's too much. I couldn't do 3. Sorry.
Well, I
you,
wasn't
you
planning
guys
on
are
having
amazing.
3. I didn't plan on having 3, but
You
Same
haven't.
here.
Maybe you need a new hobby.
such is life. We definitely needed a new hobby.
Reading about doom and gloom.
Tell you what, 3 kids makes you get new hobbies. So.
True. Do you even have time for new hobbies though? That's the question.
Yeah, writing code at 2 a.m. It's the only time you get. And then somebody's awake anyway, so you're like, well,
I might as well.
yeah.
Okay, I think I may have some other secrets in that file. I'm okay with those. I don't care if you see those,
Okay.
because I'm going to delete that resource.
I'm going to
group
rapidly
and-
write these
and
down.
stuff.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah,
Free video from Vonage.
That's okay. Go. That means you sign up an account. So
True.
my folks are happy.
Job is done. Yeah, one more account added. Check.
Let's see. So we need to go. Oh, I already have it open right here. So I need to go get. Should I delete this client application or how?
No,
should
we need to delete the auth options.
No, we can just change it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Just open it up. So you're going to need that app ID. We are going to need that. The application client ID. We're going to need
Yeah.
that.
That's that. I'm gonna go ahead and copy it in here.
Okay. The secret will want to we will want to generate a secret. There's some alternative ways we could do this, but for now we will want to generate this. Now I'll tell you what. If you scroll down just a little bit, or if you push the page down a little bit, I'm pretty sure your head will block the secret value that you generate.
Or just
Or I can
push
just-
the browser down.
I'm not afraid.
Push the
Or I'll
browser
just,
down.
I'll just take your screen down for a sec, long enough for
Yeah.
you to generate a secret. So let me do that. All right, your screen's gone. So generate your secret. We'll get that copied.
Mm-hmm.
The
Tell me when
value,
you're-
right?
Tell me when you're ready. And yes, it's definitely the value.
Okay, hold on.
Not
Let
the
me
ID.
also type in the ngrok URL. It's
I'm not afraid. That should be clipped. I think that should be clipped.
Well, I just mean I don't care if you know that URL. It's just you can also see the other .env variables, which includes the secret. So it doesn't really make sense to take it off. Okay, you're good.
Okay,
Famous
good. All
last
right.
words.
Now your screen's back. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is open that application registration back up, the Voodoo
Okay.
video. And under authentication, we need to make a small change.
Okay.
So because we're not using a single page app, we're going to be using a normal app. We need to remove these.
Okay. Just delete that
and-
single page app.
Yep, you can delete the whole thing, and then we're going to add a platform for web. And here we're going to put those redirects in.
Okay. So SGP localhost 3000/redirect, right?
Yep.
That's where it's going back. And I guess we need to do access and ID like we did earlier.
I don't think we're going to have to do this because we're on a server side, right? So we've got our server on the back end, and you have a client secret. The whole point of implicit means I'm essentially going to get a token from the authorization endpoint, and it's going to come directly back through the user's browser. With this, because you have this extra redirect step or that extra redirect route where we're going to go back to Azure AD from the server side instead of from the front end, that obviates the need for implicit. So we don't have to use implicit there, which is good.
Want to do the ACPS JWT MS?
Yeah, we'll do that too, just in case we need to get one. Now, JWT.ms is an implicit flow in order for it to work, so I don't think we'll need it again today, but it's good to have it there just in case. So we'll we'll just leave it as is for now. We don't want to check the implicit boxes if we don't have to. So like, if we're and at this
leave it
point
off.
we don't have to. So we'll leave them unchecked, and if for some reason we have to come back and check them to troubleshoot a token or something with JWT.ms, then we'll do that.
Okay.
And make sure that's saved, and then I think we're good. So then the other things that we're going to need,
These.
so that's API. We're not calling it API, so we can get rid of that entirely.
Do we use that anywhere, I guess?
I think we're going to
Can we
need,
do
I'm not sure if we're using it anywhere. We definitely don't need that. The resource, we don't need that resource there. And the
We're
scopes.
not using the app states anymore.
Yep. We don't need that resource 1 because we're not calling anything.
Bolt
So
is
those
clipping
all-
everything, by the way, so we're gonna have lots of
Oh,
clips
no.
from today. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, since we're just kind of stopping for a quick sec, go join the Discord. We're getting
Yes.
more people on Discord. Well, I think the links are out there. The link is, of course, at the top of the screen as well.
Join the community.
So join the Discord, and you'll find all of the complete circus that our show is out there in Discord all the time. So,
Yeah, don't
Come
you
join
want
us.
more of this?
yeah, clearly.
I love how Bolt.io is saying, I'm going to clip just the videos that you want to cut out from YouTube.
From YouTube.
and I call that leverage. You know?
This
Yeah.
is insult-driven development, right?
Yeah.
So,
Blackmail-driven development.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bolt's gonna be like, I want some swag, or your boss starts getting emails.
Bolt
Here's
has
the
swag.
clip.
Well, exactly. I don't know what more
He wants
needs from
more.
us.
So, okay, all right. So, so the scopes, we do need those, OpenID and profile. So OpenID means we're going to get the user, that's going to give us the ID token. The ID token is for your application to know who the user is. We don't really, we're not going to use an access token because we're not going to be calling a downstream service. That said, we may end up having to fake one out because there was a bug in an earlier version of MSAL where you had to have an access token, but maybe we won't hit that. So let's keep going. Okay, so I think we might be good to go. I think we might have all the pieces we need. Do you have your user flow that you created? Is that anywhere in your config? Because we're going to need that.
My user flow.
Yeah, so in that configuration, that see that authority, we've got policies, authority, sign up, sign in, authority. Where does that resolve to? Have we created that object anywhere?
There's no policies that I know of. I don't think we create that object, so we need to create that somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
what
this
that
is
is.
it's just going to be a string. So we'll just give you the string.
Just hard code it.
To it. I mean, you could put it in settings. You can put it in your environment if you'd like, but it's not going to change. So, actually, it's that policies.authority domain, which the policies object is not yours. So that's okay. So let's go back one. No, that policies object and known authorities is one that came from the sample.
Oh, it's from the MSAL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to your user flows in the B2C portal.
Okay.
So that's back one level, and then you'll have user flows.
Yep.
And these are the flows we use to sign users in. So if you click
Yeah, we
one of
already set
these-
that up.
So if you click one of these, click the Run Now Run User Flow button at the top, and up at the very top, you see that link?
Yep.
We're gonna copy that link out.
Just providing feedback. It'd be nice to have a little copy icon there.
Actually, you know what? Don't do it this way.
I think if
Don't
I
even-
click, it goes to it.
It does go to it. Don't do it this way. I've got a better one for you. Okay, so
Okay.
go back. So go back one. Back to your app. Back to your app registration. And click on endpoints at the top.
Your wish is our command. There you go.
And you can get the little copy thing there. So the thing that we want is the we want the very top one, and we're just going to cut some stuff out of it.
Okay. I'll tell you what
So
I
let's
want.
take that one.
What I really, really want.
Oh.
So we're going to take this. Now, we can get rid of OAuth 2.
Okay.
We can get rid of token. And the one thing we do need to add is where it says policy name, we need to add the name of your sign up, sign in policy.
Is that the user flow?
That is the user flow. That's correct. B2C1 Susie.
Okay.
Okay. And now that that same authority, so that same value, we're going to put in that known authorities array.
What is policies? Is that
That's an object that
It's
was
from the
defined.
sample.
it
in-
doesn't exist?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can just do that. Okay.
So make sure that's part of the. Make sure that is part of the known authorities, and then let's see. One other thing to check. The known authorities. Actually, I think we can take out all of the extra goop
From
All
the
the extra
config.
goop.
Yeah.
from the known authorities.
system
So we
stuff?
only need voodooco.b2clogin.com. We can get rid of
Okay.
the rest of that. And then I also don't think we need V2 at the end of
At the end of this
that.
one?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can get rid of the HTTPS in the known authorities. So we just want the name of the domain. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So does that all look correct? VoodooCo, B2C login, VoodooCo on Microsoft, B2C one Susie. That's our policy. That all looks good. Make sure I'm not missing anything. B2C login, B2C.
And we have an environment variable that is Azure B2C direct URL, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, let's run it. Let's see what we get.
Time to test it.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Everything can go wrong, but it doesn't matter. We can fix them.
Uh-oh.
Listening.
What's undefined? Unsave uninitialized.
Let's see.
Oh,
First,
the
undefined
session.
receive. Okay, listening on 3000.
Deprecated.
So I think I need to go to probably the bbb.ngrok.io. Oh, I need to be HTTPS too.
And we have defined that URL in the redirect URLs, right?
New user, who dis?
Okay.
Very nice.
All right.
Oh.
Policies is not defined. So that's where we were
Okay.
like removing stuff. So I probably still have one somewhere.
Yes, we still got one floating around somewhere. Ah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So we need to. So that's essentially going to be the same as that authority, the authority one, not the known authorities.
Oh, this one.
No.
Yeah. In effect, it tells you where to go to sign in, which policy you're going to use.
Okay.
Yeah. The authority says, "Hey, this is who is authoritative for these users. Who do I trust as the app, and this is my user source." So that's really what.
Okay. So just to make sure, I'm going to go room
Oh, that's a good point.
425 show to make sure it's passing.
We have
that
our
too.
own room. I'm so
Yeah.
chuffed right now.
And then click that. It's thinking. App states is
Oh.
not defined. Oh,
Okay,
good.
so
I would
we-
hate to think that it was.
So we still got
Oh.
that floating around somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go.
Right there. So in this case, it doesn't really matter. It's always going to be login, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because we're not using it for anything else. So yeah, we can.
For now, this could become a full-blown app eventually, people. It's going in the market.
Don't believe the hype.
Hey, everything starts with an idea, right?
Okay, go again.
Something happened. Hang on.
Something happened.
What's in your
It
URL?
came to redirect. It says
Okay.
state equals an object. Okay, so that looks.
So we're not getting our state in there, correct? Correct.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It does have this long client ID code.
Okay, that's good. So this means we got the code back, which is
Yeah.
good. So that means the sign-in already happened because you got a cookie on your machine from B2C. So the sign-in itself actually already happened.
Yeah.
Now it's just
We need
our
to fix
code
that
needs
state
to.
thing.
Yeah, our code
Just
needs
display
to
something
parse it
nice.
out.
Yep.
So let's. So instead of sending that as an object, what if I just send it as a string?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Because it is just a string. It's just going to get stuffed into the query string.
Yeah.
And we came back to the right room, right?
No, it
don't
never made it. I think it
Oh, I didn't make it.
stopped
right.
at redirect.
Yeah.
So it never. Wait.
Okay.
Let's think about that. It comes back to redirect. Redirect gets that junk out. Get the token code. And it would have never. Oh, that room ID doesn't exist. It's template params
Oh, right.
dot room ID.
Because that's for getting out of the response state. Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay, so that
Alright.
node model restart that, and I'm just gonna go get rid of all that.
Yep. Good idea.
Don't forget to put the room.
Room 425 show. New user who dis. I think I can.
Okay. It's all right. So what do we have in the URL?
State equals 425 show. So it's only sending the string.
Oh, it doesn't say in the room, which is fine, right?
No, because we don't. It's just sending. Oh wait, so if it's just sending that, then we can just say state.
That's
It's
true.
not.
Yeah.
It's not a name parameter.
Yeah.
One more again.
Hey.
It's okay.
Room 425 show. Think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I can't.
No, that's okay.
State
So let's
equals
look and see
425.
what kind of error are we getting. Are we getting an error when we try to run? Because
Auth acquire token by code called.
Okay.
Retrieve cache value. Auth client config generated. In acquired
okay.
token call.
So in that error, that catch that we have
Is that throwing?
in our code in the redirect route. So,
Is that throwing?
Is that?
Oh,
Are we ever making it there? Are we ever making it to that catch error?
Can we put a breakpoint?
No, I don't think we are. Can we, let me just derp it out.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I don't know if the name of our claim is actually display name.
Oh, it may not be.
Do you
That's
still
true.
have that JWTMS up anywhere with your token in it?
I don't, but I can go there.
That's okay. Let's just go to the application claims object down there at the in the settings there.
The heck?
It's right in the middle. Your mouse was over it actually, right there. Application claims.
Oh, okay.
These are the apps that get sent back over.
Display
and,
name.
Yeah, of course, it's not. The actual name of the claim itself isn't in there.
Yeah.
Just run the
We can run
JW.ms
it.
flow.
It'll show us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to run JWT.ms again, you got to do a.
Yes,
You got to turn it. You got to turn implicit back on.
Oh, yes.
Well, here. Let's just
Dump the response.
yeah,
All right.
console derp that. So I call that console dir. I call that derp because usually if I'm using that, it's something I've done that's kind of derpy, like derp.
What does there do? What does there do? I know log. What does there do?
It just records out the object.
Can you dump the ID token claims object?
I can. Oh, it actually sent me to the login this time.
Okay.
Maybe we didn't get that before.
We didn't. Oh heck, I gotta remember my password. Suddenly I'm like, well, yeah, maybe we should let them change their password. Is that right? Okay.
Okay.
So send me back here. What did it derp out?
Okay. Name. It's just
not- it's just
name.
display name.
Damn you. Name.
There we go. Okay.
Today I
And
learned
then-
about console.dir or derp.
And in state, wait, that object has undefined because we were using display name, but room ID is coming back empty.
Interesting.
So let's just derp out response.
Oh man, I'm
'Cause
totally
that-
gonna start using this console.dir. This is awesome.
I know. Like, what
so
the-
many
where was it
times.
hiding
How
all,
many-
all our lives?
I've written like 55 map functions to go and write out objects. I had no idea this existed.
Is that fairly
awesome.
new?
I have brought value. No, it's not. No. So we've got the whole response object.
Same on us.
All right.
Account ID tokens. State.
Okay.
We're looking for state, right? State is empty. It's not getting.
Okay.
It's not getting populated.
But see, the way
So-
it was sending originally, it was not just sending a string. It was sending an object.
So maybe we need to send an object.
Well, I think we'll have to. Like, you'd have to. It has to be encoded somehow. So like, the library doesn't do any of the encoding work for you.
You mean URL encode?
URL
I'm pretty
encoding, correct.
reading that.
Yeah, I thought we were just. I thought we just had the room because wasn't the room in the state param?
It was.
That's what I thought too. I thought like we saw it in your browser,
Oh.
right?
But
Yeah,
but we,
yeah.
we never made it to the
from
login, right?
That was from the query, though.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it will be in the query string. That's oh. You're saying it never made it into the.
It's not.
Right.
It's not response
Yes.
dot state. It's. So we
I
should
wonder
get
if
that
that's
out of the
because
queries?
our. I wonder if that's because our login is failing.
Why would the login fail?
The authorization code swap. I mean.
What if I do const? I've changed that to name, right? That's ID token claims dot name, and then I'm gonna do room ID equals request. Oh, actually, I just do room ID. Room ID equals request dot query, and then just say put room ID there. I'm going to leave that derp just to make sure we get the name.
Okay.
Okay. And then come back up here. Room 425 show. New user who dis.
Okay.
Redirect state equals 425 show. Okay, so it's not
It's not room ID. It's state.
room ID, it's state. But that should have also derped something, right? What did I tell it to derp?
I thought it was just that
Username is
object.
Michael Jolley. Yeah, yeah. So that's working.
Okay.
This is not room ID. Let's call it state. And then I'll just say state.
Okay.
I gotta tell you guys, it's Friday. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for a Friday. You're making me write code.
Debug.
I got derps.
Derp. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Now this is actually pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay, wait. We're still getting that. What did I get out? I got.
So that not
Where
logged
did
in,
that go?
that's your thing, right?
Well, that's the restart. And then I got
Yeah.
an undefined here. What was it trying to console log?
Was that the room ID from the top? That one there?
There. But what's undefined? Wait, no. It'd be the get. Okay. It'd be the get here.
Mm-hmm.
It's calling check sign in. Check sign in is probably what's throwing the error. If request session user, then keep on. Otherwise, not logged in. Not logged in.
Okay.
So that's the problem. Is it's not redirecting. Because of that. So request session user. I bet the way I'm setting this is wrong.
Oh, okay.
I gotta remind myself how to do this now.
This is
480
Express. What is this?
Yeah.
Express session?
Yeah.
Add. Where's the set item? Let's see. Oh Lord, I've ended up in Oracle Help Center. What? I don't want to be there. Get me out of here. Somebody save me. Let's see. Express session. How do we add an item to session?
It's request, not result. No response. All right. And actually, I don't even need that object. I can just say, get it from that.
Yeah, it looks like you just said it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem was I had it on response.
Not
Oh,
the
you
request.
I got it. So you were setting it on the. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I thought all of this was it. Here. 425.
Let's do this.
I think I can. There
Whoa!
we go. Okay.
With
And
6
where did
minutes
it
to
get-
spare.
Wait a
Damn.
minute. Where did it get your name on the top?
Because it pulled it out of the user. the display name. I set that on the session, and I'm sending it with my video stream.
No, that's what's up.
Yeah,
Kaboom.
so you guys, I shared a link in Twitch chat. I'll share it in OBS too.
Okay.
Oh, we can sign. We can join.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
And other people should be able to join too.
I need to make an account
sign
now.
up, right?
Yeah, you can all sign up.
Let's sign up.
Make sure you use your real email address, because otherwise you'll have to.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it. Mail.
Oh, that's right. You had to. That's right. You had to do the thing.
Damn,
So yeah, I told it when you create the video session, automatically add them on this page, and then use that username as a display name on the video. And it's optional to show that. You can have a setting that says show it when they first join, and then hide unless you mouse over. In my case, I said no. Always show their name.
Nice.
We were originally thinking about using Twitter for this, right? And I was like, oh, we'll just put their Twitter handle there.
Ah, that would be
could have
cool.
done.
Or their Twitch.
We could have done
We
Twitch.
could
We could have done Twitch too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me hang on. I'm going to sign up. You still got your screen up, right?
Signing in.
All right.
Yeah, you need to go. You'll have to go to that room 425 show.
Check this out.
It's like magic.
It's like magic.
You'll want to mute that browser window.
Oh, I would like to use my camera and my microphone.
I know.
Yeah, because it's a video conference, right? So there's no styling on this. I just told it to add a new block with the video. Subscribe to that WebRTC stream.
Where's my video?
Did you not let it use your camera?
I did. Hang on, let me refresh it.
Yeah, Sean. Bada boom, bada boom.
It didn't let me. Continue allowing bbb.ngrok.io to access your camera and microphone. Huh. Yeah, I let it. It just doesn't work for me, but that's okay. It's probably a me problem. Almost certainly it's a me problem.
Your camera may be already in use. Maybe locked on your whatever's using it now.
OBS. Hang on. I can fix that. Hang on. I'm gonna disappear.
Anybody else
here.
want to join us?
Pow.
Code with Sean's out there. Janisku, BSD guy, AZ Wildfire, Robert Tables is here. Chicken Man, all these people are here. There you go. Not bald, but bearded. Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, if I put my head up high enough, I can get the same effect.
Yeah.
With five
we are basic. Oh, wait. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hold on.
Let me
Let me put on my JP wig.
Wait, what?
We are basically the same person.
Two places at the same time, though.
I know it.
Somehow. I don't know. Like, it's AZ
Oh,
Wildfire.
there's AZ Wildfire.
What's up, Rich?
See, I should have had these. Oh, look at that hair. That's awesome.
Oh, my God.
See, I should have had it wrapped better. I should have styled it better, but there's Bolt.
Bolt. Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I should have had it wrapped. Son of a gun.
I came prepared. Check this out.
Oh, you know what? I can do that. Let me go into that HTML for the room. And
I hear
let's
Corey.
say,
I hear Corey Calloway.
Style. Let's do subscribers. Display flex. Would that do it good enough? Maybe so. Let me refresh. Yeah, there we go. Now they'll start rapping.
What?
Oh yeah.
Why is it insufferable, Robertable?
This is awesome. And it's got everybody's AZ Wildfires up there. We got everybody's name is showing up above their thing that came in from
how cool is that?
the Azure B2C.
It came in for B2C. It's even better. Look at that.
That's
and now,
sweet.
I feel left out. I don't have a wig. But that's
I've
okay.
got a ton of them.
Get your hat.
Do you need to
Get your
borrow
hat.
one?
I don't know
Get
if
your
I,
hat.
oh, I do have a hat. Let me get my hat because we've only got 2 minutes left anyway. So we fit this one in right at the line.
So Jason is asking, how did you build this? Can you do you want to tell us, Michael?
AZ Wildfire doesn't need a wig. He needs to let the beard grow out. Then we'll be like really spot on.
Yeah.
So this is using the Vonage Video API. Let me go Vonage.com. And then the communication APIs. Learn more. And then there's tons of them. There's tons of these APIs. Video, messages, SMS, in-app voice, just voice, SIP trunking, in-app messaging, conversation, email, dispatch. Verify would be like 2FA kind of stuff. All kinds of stuff. I'm using the video API. And actually, if you want to go sign up for it, it's you get some credit. You get like $10 free. But yeah, it's just some. Oh, we're some handsome devils.
This is amazing.
As the driven snow, let me tell you what.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nose goes. Nice. Well, hey, it's 1 o'clock, so we got to go. But Michael, this was a ton of fun. You got to come back. You need like a recurring segment, even just like half an hour a week.
Anytime.
Just come on and just tell us everything that you think.
Different wigs and different whatever.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take you up on it.
So
This was a ton of fun. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. If you have any identity issues or anything, feel free to reach out to us, 45show@microsoft.com. The Discord link is up at the top. Please, we'll be back on Tuesday to talk more identity and build some new cool stuff. We have a big announcement, but we're going to wait till Tuesday to do it because we're out of time here. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Follow us on Twitter. Join us in Discord. Send us an email if you need anything. We're going to try to raid somebody, and we're going to get out of here. Have a great weekend,
let's raid
everybody.
somebody.
See ya.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming.